Craig McRae joins us. Second biggest week of the year. You'll be part of it next week, fingers crossed, all things being equal.
Yeah, good to be here, Andy.
Lovely to see you again, thanks to Mate Internet and Mobile.
Right. Yeah, I've moved into Gazy's chair again. I've got big headsets to feel. This is a big headset.
He's got to
falling off my
tighten up
ears.
the head. It's sort of come around to his chin. the ear.
A little kid in the snow with his dad's things on, yeah.
What's the Mason Cox dinner date? What was that?
You told us about that at the start of the year.
Yeah,
Did
we had Mason over for dinner, and
Oh,
little girl was playing Guess Who with him.
that's right.
And, it was just a moment that a bit of clarity for Mason where he stood with the group. I just was real with him, said we're going to play youth before him, and we played Aiden Begg for a couple of weeks, and it was a bit hard for him to take, but got him over there and just being honest with him and where he stood, and then credit to him, he went back and got to work and then got another opportunity, hasn't looked back.
And Mason, in the comments, he said it really gave him some clarity about his role. Was there perhaps a little bit of confusion about what he was trying to do and what you might have been looking from him?
Oh, no, I just thought that we were only going to play one ruckman at that stage, and Darcy Cameron was going to play forward. This is around, probably even before that with Brody Grundy playing, we were only going to play one ruckman and maybe Darcy Cameron or Kruger was the second ruck. But then got to a stage where I think, like I said, Aiden Begg went out for a couple of weeks, and then Mason's form was too good to let go. But I think the tandem work that we've done, Mason's playing 60% game time mainly, has suited him with a little bit forward. I thought it, in the way we want to play, him as a more permanent forward into the ruck wasn't the sort of model we were looking for.
Yeah. There's been something about you can read too much into what you think the body language of somebody's telling you, and maybe some of us weren't taking that much notice of it early in the season, but since he's established himself back in the team, even the way he just sort of rumbled in and kicked that goal from the angle last week off the back of the pack, there's something about, he's got a bit of swag back about him, and he looks like he owns the areas of whenever he's in a contest, he looks like he thinks he's going to impact every contest he goes to now.
Yeah, he has an X factor about him, doesn't he? And then I think he's much maligned at times because everyone's expecting that all the time. But he has this ability to. We've got a few in our team that ignite the crowd, and then the crowd ignites all of us. Yeah. And so he's one of those guys.
Could you believe 91,000? I mean. 91,000 turned up to a Fremantle game. Could you believe that the other night?
It was incredible to be part of it, and just to stand out there early in the game and admire your workplace and look around. And I can't thank the Collingwood Army enough for the way they've turned up and continue to turn up. And I went home after the game and had a glass of red as I do, and trying to smell the roses a bit more and admiring what was. And I looked at the joy in the fans' face. It was so enjoyable to see the joy back in the faithful. And again, I'm really grateful for everyone that's turning up for us.
Is it now that you're in this situation, does it get a little easier because you've exceeded everyone's expectations? You're now in a situation where, hey, no matter what happens this weekend, everyone's going to look back on your season and say, this was a hell of a season and something that was really, really good. Does that sort of take a little bit of the pressure off?
No, I think we don't look at it like that because the old adage, you got nothing to lose. We've got so much to lose.
Oh, absolutely. No, I agree with that.
Yeah. So no, I think we're in a position that we feel like our best is in front of us, and continue to say that. And it's based on evidence. Like you just look at some of the stuff we're doing at training and the individuals in the gym, and then our numbers in match day are pointing towards we're actually getting better and gelling defensively, and all these little things that we have statistically that says we are getting better. That gives us optimism, and there's a few things that we still got to get through. Clearly, Sydney's one of them in great form, but we're not in that model of we've won a final, that's good enough. No, we're not living in that space.
How is, generally speaking, how is the group, the energy, not the mindset, because I imagine they're up and can't wait for Saturday afternoon, but how are they physically, the energy levels and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, really good. After the Geelong game, we were battered. We were really bruised and battered. So one thing, you play a really combative game and then you sort of pull up on a Monday and you don't get the result. You've got to pick yourself up quickly. That was hence one of my comments post that game about, hey, we've got to get back to work here. And so then we get in Monday and Tuesday, and it was a little bit of a slow burn to get the bodies moving again. A medical, I actually don't like early week medicals. It's like having a baby and all the labour pains and the stretch marks. Not that I had any ladies out there. I've never done that, so I can't imagine what that would be like. But,
no, you have not.
But comparative to, you get all this information and, do I need to hear that right now? We've got about 17 guys that are, I watch after a month. Yep. So then can you just tell me Friday who it is, but this week is way better in terms of physical shape and readiness to perform this week.
Hey, yeah, one of the things that you've constantly preached is just playing with joy, looking at the bigger picture, and all those things. Which I think, when you look at your team and you've had success, you've ticked that box really well. Before the game on the weekend, there was vision of you guys coming out of the tunnel, and I think it was Nick Dacos there, and you could just see smiles on their face, and just this something was a little, I think, different to what we've seen by teams in the past. And a lot of it's because commentators will say, well, you need to be this stoic, focused look. But
it's changing, isn't it?
It projected this, a little bit what we saw, I think, similar to what we've seen with Richmond over the years. Now, how much is that by design and by coaching or is it just you get a group of personalities together that's just going to happen anyway?
Yeah, I think it's personality-based, some of it. But, we encourage our players to live in the moment and take it all in and embrace it all. And I know before the game I spoke about gratefulness. It was one of the last things I said. I said, boys, when you get out there, just make sure you take this in and be grateful. What else would you be doing? And ask one of the young players, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'd probably be on a holiday drinking somewhere or whatever. But the reality of where we are in this space, to run out and look, there's a bit of a replay going on the screen up there. Look at the crowd there. Take all that in, and this doesn't happen every year. Or some guys not even get it in their careers. So run out the ground and just embrace all of it. Our playing group have got this unique warm up, and I don't know. It may get to air some stage.
Yes,
but they are carrying on pre-game and. I meditate, and I'm like, I have to put the headphones in. They're really...
when you say carrying on, you mean, is it the music? Is it the talk? Or
the music and the loudness. Oh, my God, they are so loud before the game. But that's theirs. And I just let them have the space for what it is. This has been going on for 20 weeks.
Yeah.
So this is what they do.
So the replay you're talking about, it just went Noble to Jay Dacos, back to Noble, and then Noble drove on inside forward 50. Is there some story? There's some story about Johnny Noble pre-game. I'm hearing something about. Can you tell me what's going on here?
Oh, look, we like to keep it. Well, I like to keep it light at the start, and then give the messages. So there's some science around laughing and then taking information. Apparently, but for Johnny Noble, we celebrate his birthday every match day.
every game, match day. It's his birthday.
I don't know where it started or how it started, but every match day I walk in and, hey, happy birthday, Johnny, and then the boys laugh and cheer him and smile. It gets a little bit. You can just tell that everyone starts breathing a bit easier. Before the game on the weekend, actually, the Geelong final, I got a cake, and we because he's a twin. You know he's a twin, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I got a message from his twin brother wishing him a happy birthday. So the players are laughing at that. In the background, I'm lighting sparkles for this cake, and I brought in, almost set the fire alarm off. So we're taking it a little bit too far, but we celebrate his birthday every match day for some reason.
What would Lee say? What would Lee say about this?
It would not happen. What a big Bolthouse, oh boy.
That's right. Did you ever think? I mean, these are the things, right? I mean, you've done it. These are the triggers or the cues or the touch points or whatever you want to call it that I don't know whether you've learnt this on the fly or clearly you know more about this caper than you're letting on, the psychology of it. But you do this, you do this, and you get a response from the group. And then the group, because of that response to the trigger, are in a better headspace to play something like their best footy. I mean, is it as simple as that now?
Well, the occasion itself is so big. Like, you'd be disappointed if they're not ready to perform in it. But I like to take and I've said this on this radio station before, we'd like to take the air out of it early so the anxiety can we're okay, we've done enough work. So I have a little bit of fun around that for probably, I reckon it goes for 90 seconds to be honest. So hopefully I'm not beating it up more than what it is. And then I just attack the mindset of what's needed for the game. So always go into a mindset, what's needed, whether it's embrace something or some other part of the mindset, and attack that, and then have them ready in the mind, and then I attack the emotional and the tactical side of it, and then that's how we go about it.
And we heard this week, and we actually played it on our show, Michael Sheen, and he was he's an actor.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen it, where he gave this speech to inspire
the Welsh football. He's a Welsh actor.
I did see that. Yeah.
It was goosebumps type stuff that we're doing. Do you, as a coach, have you got that in you? Is that something that you do on a regular basis? You always try to tick that box, or do you leave that to others?
I did see it. No, I don't.
Right.
Not to that. That was a different level. That in terms of inspiring, there's different ways to gather emotion,
Yes.
and I'd like to find different ways. Whether it's tone, whether it's I always show highlights tape, and to get the emotive part of that. So it's something I'm very conscious of, and just finding different angles and themes.
Is that hard every week to come up with something?
Yeah, sometimes. Like I see. I tend to go for a bit of a funny theme. Like I know early in the year we were talking about going to Sydney. And it was pouring down with rain. It was floods. So I Googled what it was like to love rain, like lovers of rain, and it was a word called pluviophiles. I think it's pronounced that way. And so I put the quote up what a lover of rain is, and I said, boys, we're going up there. We're going to be plovers. And they looked at me. What are you talking about? Anyway, we get up there and it didn't rain, but then we get to play Fremantle in Fremantle, and in the warm-up, it's absolutely bucketing down.
Terrible,
so I quickly went in my computer, got this slide out, plovers. Boys, we are plovers. And we're laughing and carrying on. Then we run out ready to embrace this rain. And we just look for little ways to embrace and accept what
That's
is going.
great.
Yeah.
So to that end, and it's all about what's happening on Saturday and not what's happened in the last, several weeks. But did you get the reaction from the group that you were hoping to get or that you wanted after the stand-up after the loss, after the Geelong game?
I must admit, I reflect heavily on all the things that I say and do, and I have great comfort. I've got to say, Andy, that this group is so well prepared by our coaches, and I'm a voice of our group, but our coaches do an amazing job to prepare them ready to play, and I'm big on setting people up and. But I get to match day and I have such confidence in Brendan Bolton, Justin Lepage, Hayden Skipworth, these guys, and Scott Silver. They prepare them so well. So then you have this ability to be at ease. And the boys, we just trust the system, trust what we're doing.
Yeah.
Jared Way's another one, preparing really well physically. So then, hey, we just go play. Trust that we've done the work and we're ready to go.
And what about this time? You'd like to have selection issues. It was interesting. I mean, I watched the game and following it, there's conversations about Ash Johnson, who's been a revelation, in my view. I'm thinking, where's this guy? How can this guy slip through the cracks? But here he is. And he, to me, wasn't terrible. He missed a couple that you'd normally unlucky, hit the post one time. And then I pick up the paper the next day and people are saying, well, Craig McRae's going to have some selection problems should you pick him. Now, I assume you don't base it just on one performance. And even that, the performance wasn't horrific. Is there going to be some selection challenges?
I must admit, there's a thought in me that we sort of attack the game slightly differently, but I'm not sure. We haven't done our match committee until tomorrow, but in terms of Ash Johnson, like he's been, like you said, he's stepped in, and unfortunately, Ollie Henry hasn't been able to get a game because Ash has played this role really, really well. So. Look, I think everybody's entitled to have a slight off game, if you like, if you want to put it that way. But we're looking for him to get back to work and get back and doing what he's been doing really well.
So before we get to the break, just sort of broadly speaking, how much thought do you put into your sub selection? Kruger, first week of the finals, Carmichael last week. Now, Carmichael wasn't required. How important and how much time do you spend on getting that player in that spot right?
It can vary week to week based on if there's somebody in doubt or they're playing, and then you think, what if he doesn't get through? So you thought, we might need a mid if he's going to go. All that sort of stuff. And probably it's amazing how much time you spend on that last player. It is significant at times, and then other weeks it's like, we probably just need this. Let's just back that in someone with a bit of flexibility. I think this week will be one that we'll spend a lot of time on.
Yeah. Have you followed that at all? Have you followed the conversation around that tackle?
No. He's clearly hasn't let it go, has he?
No.
Just a couple of weeks on.
No.
Well, reality, the AFL never contacted us at all.
Yep.
So we just, I didn't even cross our desk. Not even.
Well, the vision, we had the vision. It was very inconclusive, the vision, which is unusual these days because they've got that many cameras and stuff going on. But you couldn't really tell.
No,
but
the
clearly,
vision was,
clearly he was extremely agitated about it. Obviously.
The level, and Dermot saw it, and Dermot was on this show last week, and
I think Dermot saw something else too, though, didn't he?
He's talking about that, but he's watched, he's formed his own opinion about Jack Ginman on the way through. It's just been relentless, Craig. Like the conversation around this kid, it's not stopped at any stage. Like in fact, the intensity levels have stayed in the red zone right throughout 22.
Yeah, imagine how many Collingwood supporters are out there saying, "What about Jack Ginnivan's getting tackled around the head all the time, or the headlocks?" Like, we want to protect our players. Jack's one of those that I think we are learning good lessons along the way of how we can protect him as a footy club and how we can support him. Me in particular, I want to make sure we keep the little things at bay and hey, come in here, come on, mate. We got you just come in this safe space for us because there is a big world out there that really want to have him as an agenda and a story.
And that's the thing, right? So you let go of him when you haven't got him in your footy club. He goes home and he hangs out with his mates and he goes to Bendigo to watch his sister play a game of footy and he's got his phone and all the rest, and the world can get at him. And I've asked you this before, so here we go again. But to your eye and the conversation you've had with him, is he rolling through this okay? Is he coping with it all okay?
Well, he did, and I'm not going to open up to all the conversations we had. That's clearly between him and I and the footy club. But there was a period you heard the words come out of his mouth that he was really struggling with it. And so, as a broader footy world, I thought that actually got somewhere, and there was a level of like, hey, let's give this kid some space here. The attention's a bit too far and unrealistic, and so I thought that was an important stage of the year. The kid himself is learning about how to handle all this. He's gone from zero to 1,000 in fame or 100,000 in terms of followers, isn't it? If you want to go that far. But so he's 19. Picture what you were doing with 19.
No, I would have been. No, I would have been around.
Okay, let's not picture that. Then.
It wasn't all bad.
Very boring if you're picturing me.
What was it?
I'm talking about.
Thank you very much. It wasn't all bad, Craig. No, there's a bit going on.
You would have
wasn't on
been
it.
practicing
That's right.
your craft, I bet.
Just
That's all he
taking
did.
shooting
Free
jump shots.
throws. Yeah,
Now,
that's all he's
Andy,
doing.
apparently, as he claims, was a very good-looking rooster when he was 19. Self-proclaimed.
Kick 99. Kick 99.
And a
good ball.
Thanks.
Hey, Craig, the other
Do you want to hear about it? I'll tell you all about it if you want.
I've heard it already.
The other thing that when you see, even on this show that we've talked about at this stage of the year, talking about players coming and going, all the different action going on. You've got a bigger prize still awaiting you, hopefully, for you guys. Do you still get caught up? Is it impossible to ignore the players' situation and the talk that's been out there? Like this morning, we come into the office and we're talking about Ollie Henry and just the rumour that, well, he wants to go back to Geelong, would declare Geelong, obviously for other reasons, but is that just a fact of life that you have to deal with, or do you put something in place to try and quieten down that type of noise within your organisation?
Yeah, Graham Wright does an amazing job in this space, and then drip feeds for what I need to know around what's going on. Another thing, we're still playing, and now there's only 4 teams left. Yeah. There is a lot of teams that aren't, 14 teams clearly, that are doing all this exit interviewing and list management and stuff that it's just in my head right now. I'm going, oh, wow, that's coming, but I'm just not quite there. Yeah, but you see, I almost swore that.
That's really not a swear word.
First slip, I reckon, for the whole year.
And they had, you see Willie Rioli and these other, Jackson yesterday, whatever it was, and that's all going on because we're in this industry where it moves and one finishes, the next one starts, and these conversations are consistently going on. You're naive to think they're not. Right now, we're just really concerned about ground balls and Sydney and all this stuff. So it's lesser of an invasive space.
Well,
for us.
Trade Radio actually launched today. It launched today. So Sauce and Lloydie and Damo launched, and that becomes, once the grand final's done, and it literally goes from that. We have about an hour of celebrating the winner, and then it's on again. 18 teams back on level footing. Who's going where? Who are we going to get? Who are we going to cut? Who are we going to move? Who are we going to... And the appetite for that now amongst listeners to radio stations like this, and it's unprecedented until the next year rolls around, and then it's unprecedented again. The interest in the volume, and then it breaks records again the year after. You've said they drip feed you information, you keep it. But even at this stage of the season, like, do they ever give you a tap and say, "Listen, we're feeling there's a bit of heat coming in for, let's say, Ollie Henry"? Do you then have to devote your attention or spend any time calling him in, having a chat? We all good? Even now that you've got other things to worry about?
Oh, these conversations are continuous. Whether it's Ollie Henry or the VFL finished 3 weeks ago, you're trying to manage your list and get everybody. They're continuous. So there'll be at the right time when we're all said and done, that's going to be a priority, like you said. It's funny how our industry works, doesn't it? Like Ben Rutten unfortunately loses his job, and there's a story about it. But the next story is like, who's going to take his job? So quickly. So the game moves really fast, and then there's right now 14 teams that want to hear about what's going on at their club.
Absolutely.
So there's content everywhere, and again, this is just part and parcel.
But
what
what you're part of on Saturday is still the biggest deal. It's until the grand finals, the final siren blows to end the grand final. It's still the biggest deal, and it never will not be. So there's a bit. I want to talk to you a little bit, as much as you can tell us about Sydney. I want to get some thoughts from you on them.
Hey, Andy, can I ask you a question?
I kicked 2-7 in the grand final, and
you kicked 99.
You're not going to ask that question.
How did you not kick the 100th? There's the one you missed that you just
I missed a few.
Regret. One you really regret.
Yeah, there's one early in the last quarter that I should have kicked.
10 metres out, directly in front.
About 25 out, but I should have kicked
directly
it.
in front.
But the weather, we started in 26 degrees down at, and then there'd been the big southerly buster came through. Not really my conditions, the wet. I'm not a plover.
Have you let it go?
No, I have not. It was a long time ago. What do you got to take away from the other? I know you've done things with the dimensions of your training facility, so there's that to deal with, and it's only minute, but it's clearly significant enough for you from the geography of their footy ground. It's clearly significant enough for you to remark your training facility.